No matter how many times I reward him or I punish him, he continues to have the same behavior. It's so frustrating. What can I do? Have you ever had that experience, either as a parent or as a teacher? A child who continues to misbehave, and no matter how many times we try to redirect or to reward or take consequence, the behavior continues again and again. What can I do? How can I change? How can I help this student? The truth is, if we are honest and we look at ourselves, don't we have the same experience? We're now approaching Rosh Hashanah. How many Rosh Hashanahs have come and gone, and we continue to work on the same challenges? Year after year, we want to make improvements, and we accept upon ourselves sometimes the same Kabbalahs. And yet, time and time again, we seem to fail. And that too is so frustrating. In this week's video, we're going to explore a concept which I believe is very practical, not only in the classroom, but also helping ourselves understand who we are and how we can help ourselves and how we can make this Rosh Hashanah more meaningful.
Remember when I told you that I'd never leave your path, and now I'm back to where I started. Yeah, I've come right back. And what about all the promises? Yeah, the ones I've never kept. I've been slipping down this mountain time and time again.
The idea I want to explore with you today is understanding what motivates a child to misbehave. What motivates a person to do the things they do? Oftentimes, it does not obviously match the exact behavior that we're able to see and identify. There's a deeper root, there's a deeper midah that's happening, and therefore that needs to be addressed first. The Baalei Mussar say that is the reason why we have difficulty changing our behaviors even though we do tshuva. Because if we just look at the action we're doing tshuva on, it's not sufficient. We have to understand the midah behind it, what it is, the source, what's causing us to do that behavior. Until we address that internal midah, no matter how much tshuva we do, we will always be motivated because of that drive to continue to do those behaviors. We find the same thing in education and in parenting. In the 1960s, there was an American psychiatrist by the name of Rudolf Dreikurs who identified 4 needs that children have that cause them to misbehave. And if we learn to identify what those needs are, we'll understand better the behaviors they're exhibiting in the classroom or at the home and how to address them and be able to correct them. The first one is attention seeking. As they're familiar with that concept, that children often will misbehave because they want attention. The behaviors look different than what the real need is. But another one is power or control. The children in a classroom or in a home might feel disempowered. That might make them feel uncomfortable. They crave a sense of power or control in their lives, and that's why they're misbehaving. The third one is revenge. Not so much because of the lack of the first two, but that could also be true, but more because it's a lack of belonging. When a person feels or is unsure of their own sense of belonging or security, it makes them feel uncomfortable, it makes them feel hurt. And when they feel hurt, they want to be able to hurt someone back, perhaps the teacher or perhaps other people in the classroom. And the fourth one is self-esteem. And this one really does come about through society. All children just about are born with a healthy self-esteem, but either through things that happen in the home or in school, or more likely what happens in society, because our priorities are so skewed nowadays, and people think they have to be good based upon the most silliest of things, and when we don't have them, we lose our own self-esteem. And therefore, a child who's lacking self-esteem won't want to do what he's supposed to, and often will act out. In the future, I will make 4 videos that will explore each of these concepts, how they present themselves in the classroom, how we can identify the source, because it doesn't always match the behavior, and then what can we do to address it so that we can make our children successful. But in this video, I would like to look at ourselves and our own connection to Hashem, and particularly how we relate to Rosh Hashanah, and to see how that is being addressed and how we can have a successful Yom Adin in the upcoming weeks. So we also seek attention, but how that presents itself in our relationship to Hashem is we ask, does Hashem really care about all of these details? Does Hashem care if I put on one shoe in front of the other? Does Hashem really care about all of these nuances? And therefore we sometimes feel challenged or uninterested in doing these mitzvahs. We also sometimes feel like we are forced, we are lacking power or control in our lives, and we resent the fact that we have to go to davening, that we have to do these mitzvahs, and that makes us feel uncomfortable and resentful. And a sense of belonging, certainly in today's society, there's often many of us don't feel like we quite belong in shul, we belong to this sect of people, and we feel uncomfortable, and sometimes we want to reject and to strike out. And self-esteem presents itself with religion, of course, in the most insidious of ways, and that we feel that we're not deserving. Who am I to serve Hashem? I am so inadequate. I have so many aveiros. I have so many things wrong with me, so many character flaws. I can't even feel worthy to perhaps open a siddur. And that, of course, is only the Eitzah of the Yetzer Hara. So how does Rosh Hashanah help us with these things? So I believe that the four main concepts that we find in Rosh Hashanah, the three of them, which we know as Malchus, Zechronius, and Shofars, do come to address the first three things that we spoke about. And that is, if we say our attention, does Hashem really care how we behave? Does Hashem really care which shoe I put on, or how I do all of these different tiktukim? The answer is Tamluchuni Aleichem, that if we want to have a relationship with Hashem, and Hashem is everywhere in our lives. And then, of course, while we may not understand the significance of these small diktukim, or perhaps the bigger ones, we are placing Hashem on us and accepting His malchus. And therefore everything, we want Hashem to be in all aspects of our lives. And therefore everything we do, even down to the smallest detail, is a way of making Hashem our King. Zichronios is to tell us that we do have a choice. B'charta b'chayim. We can choose good and we can choose bad. There's a yoyim adin. There might be consequences, but the point is Hashem created us with the ability to choose. We have that power. We are in control of our lives, and we are able to make those choices. There might be consequences, both for the good and for the bad, but we are empowered because we know what we do is our own choices. And the third one, which is a sense of revenge, often comes to a sense of not belonging or not feeling like I count. And there you have the Kol Shofar. The Kol Shofar that connects to our neshama and uplifts us and connects us to our Chelik Elokai Mimal. And that it doesn't even need a voice. It's not so much about what we say or what we do, but we have this sense of connection that goes beyond our understanding but resonates deeply within our soul. And as we hear the Kol Shofar, we are able to feel connected and a sense of belonging, as well as being able to appoint Hashem as our King and accept all Malchus Shamayim. And the fourth one, which is a lack of self-esteem, where we feel we may have done too many aveiros and we are not deserving and we are not worthy. There we just have to come. And now is a time of renewal. It's a time of beginning. And we don't have to be burdened by our past deeds, and we can shed them and start the new year, Shana Tova Masuka, and apply ourselves to be able to make Hashem our King and to make us His avodim and connect to Him in a most profound way. And with this, I would like to answer an age-old question. And how is it that we count Rosh Hashanah as part of the Sefer Tshuva? There's very little mention of Tshuva. We don't say Chatasi, Salachti. We don't say any of those words that seem to indicate that we're doing Tshuva. We're being Mamlech Hashem on us. We're remembering it's a Yoim Adin. We blow the shofar. But where are we doing Tshuva? But now we can understand. If we want to change our behaviors, it's not so much about the specific acts that we do, that indeed we have to do tshuva, and we will do tshuva on them, and we have been doing tshuva since the beginning, since Elul already started. But if we want to make ourselves successful, we have to work on those inner midas as well.
And may this Rosh Hashanah empower us to do tshuva shlema and to indeed change our ways as we connect and fulfill our inner needs that will allow our behaviors to follow suit and be able to do the things that we really want to be able to do, and to become the people we really want to become.
May we all be zeicher this year to a Shana Tova Masuka. May we all be written in the Sefer Chayim Tovim and Parnosa Tova. May we be able to be zeicher to have all of the Geulos and the Yeshuas that we so much crave. And may we all be zeicher to a Shana Tova Masuka. I wish you all a Ksiva V'Chsima Tova and a good Ben Shua.
What's the concept of teshuva? Does it mean to start anew? Or is it really just to discover who you're